Hello, and again, welcome to Bit Depth. I'm Santiago Ramones. Across from me is
Reece Carmen.
I'm playing a show for you tonight, and I'm excited about that.
We're playing a show. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
But by the time that you hear this, listener, it will have already happened.
Future past or
Future
future
past tense.
Past tense. Yeah.
Or is that like... No, yeah, I guess that would be future past.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, as confusing as the X-Men timeline. Who are you? What do you do?
So I play drums, and the Kellys is kind of that's not the thing that I'm known for. I guess I'm more known for the Instagram page I run, where I talk about local music. I talk about albums that come out, shows, just stuff that interests me in the local scene. So
yeah. So I'm gonna ask about your music stuff, and then I'm gonna ask about you talking about music stuff.
All right, awesome.
Well, I mean, I guess one thing. How old are you? That's kind of notable.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm 16. I just turned 16 on this last Wednesday. So I'm definitely probably one of the youngest people to actively go to shows in the music scene. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's awesome.
Yeah, I wish more young people would be into it because it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it gets, I mean, the more that the younger generations are into the music scene, the more big and connected that the whole scene can get.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how did you first get started in music?
So I first got started in music, I suppose is 9 years ago, I believe. I was about 7 years old. Or actually, I started before that. So I was 6, and I really wanted to get a drum set.
Yeah.
Right. I really wanted to play the drums, and my parents were like, "No, you're not going to get to play drums. You're going to play piano first."
Yeah.
So I started taking piano lessons when I was 6 years old. Then on my 7th birthday, I got a drum set and started playing drums. And I sort of played drums on and off here and there. And then whenever I was, I guess, 12 years old, something like that. Let's go with that. I went and I saw the Foo Fighters, and it was the very first song they played, and Taylor Hawkins was playing drums going after it, and it's the song Everlong. And whenever that first chorus hit and he played that drum fill on that chorus, I was just like, that is what I want to do right there. I want to be that guy. And since then I've gotten really serious about music. I started playing multiple other instruments and got into local music, started playing in more bands, started gigging more, just getting more involved and to where it's become sort of the main thing in my life.
Yeah. So. Who were your biggest influences when you first started? Although 7-year-olds don't really have music that they listen to.
Yeah, I didn't really find my own music. I more listened to what my dad played.
Right.
So he played a lot of the stuff he listened to in the 80s when he was growing up. So I listened to a whole lot of Van Halen growing up.
Yeah.
And so Alex Van Halen was one of the first guys I can really remember. Excuse me. Or John Bonham is still a big one, but he was one of the first ones where I remember my dad was playing Led Zeppelin, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Being a kid that wanted to play drums here, and that was just blew my mind.
And then who are your biggest influences now?
Oh, okay. So biggest influences now. I mean, there's a lot. So I'd still say Bonham is a big influence of mine. But I also definitely have a lot more stuff that's sort of in the jazz world now.
Sweet. Yeah.
As I've sort of grown up, I've started playing jazz a whole lot. Which,
Yeah.
That's a whole different monster on its own. But I guess a guy like Joe Morello is a drummer that I'd like a lot. Or Thelonious Monk, sort of as just somebody who, for me, songwriting sort of influences me, and that he is somebody that sort of rejected what the norms were what the rules that had been set up. He was somebody that didn't really care to follow those. Yeah. And that's something I really sort of strive to do when I write my own music. And
exactly.
So, yeah.
So what is the Kellys?
So the Kellys is a band that has taken many forms over the past years. I suppose it's been, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5 years, 5, 6 years now. We started out when we were all just tiny kids. Our instruments were bigger than us. We played AC/DC and Guns N' Roses covers, and
it's great.
And then we sort of started to grow up. Members drifted apart. We got new members, and it's sort of changed forms to where we were a ska band for a while, whole different weird thing. And now we're sort of to a point where we're just kind of rock is a broad term, but just a rock group.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have influences from a lot of stuff. We really like American football and like emo stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sort of math rocky. And then we also though really like, like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, which is psych rock stuff. So we kind of have eclectic influences, but rock is sort of the most generic term to describe us.
Is there like a core, like few of you that are the Kellys?
Yeah. So it's the three of us. It's me, Easton Fowler, and Bennett Watson, who Easton is guitarist, and him and I both sing, and then Bennett plays bass.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the Kellys.
And you can catch them around Norman sometimes.
We play here and there. Follow us on Instagram. Shameless plug here at the Kellys. Okay, that's Kelleys.
Yeah.
So
so then what is your goal as a musician?
So my goal as a musician is to just sort of, quite frankly, this is something I haven't really thought of before, but just to like do stuff that makes me happy. And music is something that makes me happy. So to make music and make music with people I enjoy making music with, and hopefully someday make a living off of that.
Yeah. So that's one of the best, simplest goals to have. And then how and why did you start writing about local music?
Okay, so this is actually kind of a funny story, because whenever I originally started my Instagram page, I had no intention for it to be like the local music sort of thing it is now. And like back then, I didn't think that I would write an article in OK Sessions or that I would be getting sent albums, like advanced copies. I was like, just not even in my wildest dreams would that be happening. But I started it out just as like a thing where, because people got mad at me for posting like just music recommendations on my like Instagram or Snapchat story all the time. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make an account where I'm going to talk about music I like.
Sure.
Just because why not?
Yeah.
And then it was at Totally Local Fest, which was put on by the Big News. My bands were playing. I was in two bands at the time, and we were both playing at that. And I just was posting about these local bands and started talking to them. And, sort of one thing led to another. And now here we are. And I pretty much just talk about local music. Don't really talk about a lot of stuff outside of that. So,
yeah. Who are you excited about right now?
Okay. So,
big question. But
that is a big question. There's a lot of stuff I think to be excited about. One band that really excites me, is Johnny Manchild and the Poor Bastards.
Yeah.
He was recently on Bit Dev.
He's actually playing drums for me tonight.
So he does some cool stuff. I think just as far as like kind of rejecting, talking about Thelonious Monk and rejecting the rules that were set up for music, sort of rejecting the genre.
Yeah.
And really influencing, because you've got kind of this rock thing going on that has sort of jazzy influences with the horns, and I just think they do a lot of cool stuff. I don't know. Whenever I listen to local bands, it's not so much like, I don't know if phases is the word I'd use, but I listen to them in kicks,
Yeah.
Another band I really like and that I'm really excited about what they're up to right now is Mad Honey. They've got an EP coming out fall, sometime around then. And then Smoky Motel is a band that's recording an album right now. Both of those bands are great. Check out local bands. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to be excited about. There's definitely some stuff that I would be thinking about that I'm just like blanking on right now. But all of those bands are recording and releasing music right now, sort of in this time. So
how do you keep up with it all?
So I keep up with it all. I mean, just social media, trying to follow all the bands on social media and like really trying to keep up and go out to shows and talk to people about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And just find out what's going on, you know, because it's very easy to sort of miss stuff. Like there was albums or like singles, EPs, stuff that would get released.
Yeah.
And just because of the pure, like how many bands there are that I follow, like I just miss it and then listen to it later and be like, this is great.
Yeah.
How come I miss this? And it's like, so I really try and stay up as best as I can with that stuff because I really don't like to miss it. Yeah. So
do you listen to more local music than you listen to like everything else? Or is it kind of a balance?
It's a mix. It definitely depends, you know, sort of like there will be weeks or months where it's like just all local music.
Yeah.
And then there will be a week where it's like, yeah, I just listened to the Beatles this week, you know. But yeah, I'd say I try to keep it a pretty even mix because I definitely don't want to miss out on like local bands or not listen to local bands that I like. Yeah. And, you know, I definitely want to support those artists. But at the same time, it's like, I love the Beatles and I love Led Zeppelin or Wolfpack or, you know, whoever.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah, it's hard not to. So try and keep it sort of even.
Yeah. Do you have a plan to kind of do something with your like local music coverage, writing, whatever?
So I'm not sure if this is so much a plan, but kind of a goal that I have with that page. Is to, like we were talking about, bring more young people into the music scene. Because, you know, being a high schooler, I've got a lot of friends in high school. So it's like, I want them to be into local music. So like, I like tell my friends about bands like I'm like, hey, listen to Bad Jokes, listen to Johnny Manchild, listen to, you know, whoever, and, or like get them to come out to shows. And that's sort of my goal is to grow the music scene and then also to make it, sort of create a hub where it's like you don't have to necessarily like have to keep up with like a million different things, you know, like to. And this is also a thing that like Weirder or Make Oklahoma Weirder, you know, Evan Jarvix and OK Sessions does, just having like pages or like websites where you can see different information about a bunch of different local acts. I think is very helpful and makes it more accessible for somebody who's like, I want to get into the scene, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to find these bands. Just to have sort of a page where it talks about the bands and talks about the music. So,
would you rather be writing about music or playing it?
So if you know, if I had a gun to my head and it said, okay, you can either run your page or you can play drums, but you can't do both, I would probably have to choose to play drums because, you know, I wouldn't be running this page if I wasn't playing music.
Drums in the first place.
So, So, I mean,
what's something that you've learned in playing music in bands that they don't really teach you in school?
So something that I think that you learn a lot in bands that you may not necessarily learn about in school is the need to make compromises in the real world. You know, like you definitely have to be able to get along with other people and not you can't do everything your own way or you can't do everything on your own. I mean, there's definitely some people who can do solo stuff and make it work, but for me, that's not me. So, you know, you can't always just rely on yourself. You know, you need friends to help you out.
What's something that you wish they did teach in school for like music or whatever?
So for music, I don't know. So school is, you know, in at least in public school and like high school, it's mostly classical music. I kind of wish there was more stuff to sort of get people into more contemporary styles of music, you know, like, I mean, there's a teacher at my school that talked about like trying to start a history of rock and roll class. And I think that'd be awesome just to have sort of stuff like that would be fascinating. I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel the same way because the only thing that got close to contemporary music was show choir for me.
Yeah.
So. And I mean, we did like top 40s hits in the set, but like that was, other than that, just classical music.
Yeah.
Which do you even, because you're in marching band and stuff.
Marching band, yeah.
So do you even listen to the stuff that they give you, or is it just because?
I mean, I listen to classical music, but it's definitely not like, you know, I'm not like sitting down every day and being like, oh, I'm going to listen to The Firebird by Stravinsky. Like, I'll listen to that every once in a while, and I think it's cool, and I appreciate it. Or like Bach, you know, like that's not stuff that I listen to every day, and I'm not going to kid you and say that, I'm so into classical music. Like, I appreciate it, but I don't know. It's definitely not something that it's like I could do this all day, every day. But yeah.
I don't get to talk to enough people about marching band.
Yeah.
But I really loved marching band. How do you feel about marching band to start with?
I really enjoy it. I think it's a fun activity. I mean, being on drumline, you know, it's fun. You know, you get to make like the drums are like sort of not the centerpiece of it, but the drums are definitely a more important part of it than a lot of other music that I maybe play, which is another super fun part about in school band, being in the jazz band at my school, is that drums are just, it's very drum centric music. Yeah. Just very drum centric music. And it's like, instead of being like, okay, you're just going to sit in the back and like sort of keep time, you know, you get to do a little bit more and that's fun. So,
do you, this is a loaded question to be asking a 16-year-old. Do you have plans for after high school?
So I actually do have plans for after high school. I've looked at a few different colleges, but I kind of just want to go to college for something related to music, whether that be jazz performance or, you know, commercial music business. And I've looked at a few different schools, you know, UCO, UNT, both like some of the top jazz schools in the country, and then Middle Tennessee State University. So,
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Close to Nashville. So that's the whole,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dare I plug ACM, but yeah. What's a musical hurdle that you've gotten over that you didn't think that you could?
So something for me that was always difficult was I was always like, whenever I started to learn, you know, bass or started to deep dive more into piano and playing guitar and stuff, I always had a difficulty thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to write, you know, songs that are good or that sound good. And like, I still kind of have a little bit of that insecurity there with the music I write, because it's like the guy that plays guitar in my band, I'm like, he writes just stuff that's like, I couldn't even play. So so I just kind of write like simple, like chord, like stuff on acoustic guitar, and just, you know, write songs that are not necessarily, the most advanced thing in the world, but being able to sort of write songs that I feel like are me is something that I have had trouble with, and just playing any instrument really, and, you know, feeling like this sounds like me. It doesn't sound like I'm imitating John Bonham or like I'm imitating Joe Morello or whoever, you know, trying to play it and make it sound authentic to who you are as a person.
That's really cool. What's a musical hurdle that you're still working on?
Hurdle that I'm still working on, always being happy with how I play. Or, and I know that necessarily won't happen, but you know, even if I have like a crappy performance or I screw something up, instead of getting down on myself, just seeing, okay, this is an opportunity for me to improve as a musician and as a person through persevering through it, instead of just being, well, crap, you know? So like, I went to a jazz jam, and a guy called like a bop tune and counted it off real fast.
Oof.
And after that tune and after that jam, I was just like, felt real crappy, and was like, that sucked, you know? And then instead of like being down on myself and seeing that as, well, crap, I just can't play, like, you know, fast bebop, you know, taking something like that and just working on it, you know, and using that to improve. So
which, I mean, bebop is hard anyways. So,
yeah, it's crazy music.
What's something that people don't understand about playing music?
I think something a lot of people don't appreciate about music, looking in from the outside, is that for most people that are playing and that are gigging, it's not a hobby. It's a job. And these are people that have mouths to feed, that they need to put food on the table and pay the bills. So there's a lot of people that will be like, hey, will you, do this crazy big gig that's going to be way out of the way for you? And then, we're not going to pay you. We're going to give you exposure. And it's like, well, exposure does not put food on the table. Yeah. So that's something that I definitely think is sort of an issue that I've heard from a lot of people, especially, and that my own band has experienced, having shows offered where it's like, you're going to be the headliner, but you're not going to get paid because whatever reason.
Yeah.
I think that's something that that's definitely a major issue sort of in the scene.
Yeah.
So
please just pay for music.
Support musicians, pay them. Yeah.
Yeah. What is selling out?
What is selling out
in your opinion?
In my opinion? I don't know. A lot of people say, oh, well, you signed to a big record deal, you're selling out. I think, I don't know. I think selling out would be if you are no longer making art that to you feels authentic. So making art that really speaks to you and that is something that you are proud of. And I think that I don't know that there's a ton of bands that really happens to. I mean, I've heard like horror stories about bands having to change their name, signing to a record label, and there's bands like, I mean, you look at the Strokes and their last album.
I haven't heard it, but.
Well, so the pretty much short story here, the Strokes by their last album was like, they just hated each other at that point. Okay. And it was a contractual obligation. And like, that album feels sort of sell outy, air quotes. Yeah. But I don't know. I kind of try to avoid that, saying, oh, you're a sellout, because I think that's kind of a lame excuse for, I don't know.
For not liking someone's music.
Liking someone's music. Yeah, it's like, just not, like, if you don't enjoy it, just say, oh, I don't like this.
Not for me.
Instead of, oh, you're like, people talk about Weezer selling out. I mean, I think Weezer still makes solid music,
I don't know.
So, but yeah.
Unpopular opinion. I don't think Weezer was ever really that good to begin with.
That's fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I think the first few albums are pretty solid. And then like after that, it kind of tails off a little bit. And people say they sold out, but still made decent enough songs.
Yeah. Anyways, do you separate art from the artist?
Absolutely. I don't think you can listen to like, I could not listen to a lot of the music I like without doing it. I think that there's definitely a line between like somebody encouraging some really like horrendous stuff in their music. Like, I'm not going to listen to like Nazi punk, like
right.
I'm not going to listen to stuff that is just blatantly racist, sexist, homophobic. But if somebody that makes the music is a bad person, like, a great example is the Smiths. Like, Morrissey's an awful person.
The worst.
He's the worst. But am I going to quit listening to the Smiths because he's a terrible person, or because, like, am I going to quit listening to Kanye because Kanye is like a douchebag?
I can't listen to Kanye anymore. But yeah,
that's
me. Yeah.
or like my favorite like example I always talk about when separating art from the artist is Burzum, which is a Norwegian black metal group. It's not really a group, it's one guy that does it, and the guy that did it is just a horrific person. And it's like he's terrible, but I enjoy the way the music sounds. So I'm gonna listen to it, and like in my head I know this is not okay what this guy did, but
the music sounds good. The difference.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's a lot of people that they sort of say that, oh, well, if you listen to this music, you must support that person's ideology.
Right.
And I just don't think that's.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
Or I guess you can pirate it if you want. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
don't pirate music. I did not say that. Why music?
Why music? So as opposed to other art forms, or just as opposed to anything?
Yeah.
I don't know. Music, I feel like more than anything else to me, you can show such a wide range of emotion. So you can have the highest highs in music. You know, you can have a song like Mr. Blue Sky by Electric Light Orchestra, where it's just the most just optimistic song there is. And then you can also have really dark, emotional, you know, sad stuff. Like you listen to some Sufjan Stevens, where it's like that stuff, there's some stuff in that's real. You know, and I think that the way that music personally for me makes me feel and my own reaction to it is that, like, you know, if I'm listening to a great album, I can sit there and it just absorb that, and it makes me feel unlike anything else. You know, as compared to like a, I don't know, like a painting or some other art form where it's like, yeah, that's cool. You know, like Michelangelo, like, or like, you know, whoever.
It is very different.
Very cool stuff. And like, I appreciate the great artistry, but it just does not elicit such raw emotions from me that some music is able to. Yeah,
exactly. Can music save the world?
I think yes. I think music is definitely something that can bring people together. You know, like, I can't think of any specific examples, but I think that there are people that probably would not agree on much else that they could be like, oh yeah, we both like this music.
Sure, yeah.
And that could bring them together, you know, and music, I think, can be a positive force for change, you know. Well, you look at like some of the greatest civil rights activism was done through music. You listen to something like What's Going On by Marvin Gaye.
Exactly.
You know. So
yeah. What advice do you have for musicians that are starting out?
For musicians that are starting out, never that's a loaded question there.
I know. mean, it's broad.
So I'd say for musicians that are starting out is come up with criteria for you that is gonna, so if you're making music, I've got 3 criteria, you know, where it's like, if I'm going to be involved in making music with somebody or being in a band, there's 3 things where it's, is it with people I enjoy? Is it satisfying to me to make this music, and does it pay? And if it doesn't meet if it doesn't meet 2 of the 3 criteria, then I'm not going to do it. Because if it's with people I enjoy, but I don't find it musically satisfying, and I'm not getting paid anything, it's like, it's just like, why don't I just hang out with those people?
But exactly.
Then if it's paying, but it's with people I don't enjoy, and it's not musically satisfying, then it's just, you're going to be miserable doing that. So, I mean, if you're trying to turn it into a career and trying to make money off of it, that'd be my advice. Other than that, practice.
Yeah.
If you want to be good, you gotta, I mean, you know, you won't get good overnight.
Yeah. Nobody likes hearing that. But just practice.
Just practice.
Do it. All right. So changing gears, since there's no good transition into it, what is the role of spirituality or religion in your life?
So the role of spirituality or religion in my life, this question is something to me, you know, I've been raised Christian my whole life and gone to church every single Sunday. But for me, as somebody who's also, you know, I'm very fascinated by science and very fascinated by especially space. It's something that's difficult for me to believe that everything was created by somebody. So I think I sort of have a more metaphorical relationship with religion. I definitely think that spirituality is something that can be beneficial in your life, but I view it sort of more as a place of community.
Yeah.
You know, I think that religion a lot of the time for people is something that gives them a place to belong, or gives them a sense of something that they're doing something that for the betterment of the world.
Yeah.
That it's bigger than them. And so that's why I think a lot of people are so in religion. It's so attached. But for me, I don't know. That's something I've struggled with, you know, is just thinking about that.
And you don't have to have all the answers either.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something to be said for, you know, saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's something where really, you know, I don't really know. So
cool.
Yeah.
And that's good. I appreciate that a lot. Continuing on that train, what is your definition of God?
Ooh. I think God is the best in people, all the best attributes that people have. I think that we can see God in that, if that makes sense. I don't think that it's some magic man in the sky that's everything's predetermined and that there's no free will. But I think that, the best qualities and it's the good in people.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You just mentioned free will, which is the question that goes right after that. Is free will an illusion?
See, I don't think so. Okay. Because, to some extent, there is like whatever your circumstances are, I could stand up right now and start screaming and go into a fit of rage, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not a crazy person. It's like, but I think that's an interesting question to think about because it's like, well, how much of what you do is predetermined from your circumstances? You see like what household you're raised in or where you were born, but also at the same time, I don't know, thinking about that makes me sort of think, why worry about if free will is an illusion whenever I can just keep going on doing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
But it's definitely an interesting question.
Yeah. It's not the first time that people have just questioned the question rather than, so you're good. And I like those answers a lot.
Yeah.
How do you determine what good behavior is?
So I think you can determine what good behavior is are you impeding on somebody else's ability to live and to not be screwed with by other people, like, so John Locke, I think it's Locke, right? Or who was it? Life, liberty, and property.
I think that was Locke. Yeah.
Yeah. So, not killing somebody is a generally good thing, because that's life, liberty, property. You're not going to enslave people. You're not going to kill people. You're not going to steal their stuff or there's the life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, Right. So I think it's just sort of not, there's key things where it's like to other people and it's the way you interact with other people. Cause there's stuff where it's like people may not view it as like good behavior or whatever, right. But it's like not really affecting anyone else. So I think anything that's sort of a victimless crime is not necessarily good or bad. I think that sort of exists in a gray area, but I think good behavior is just sort of not adversely affecting other people.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And it gives you a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah.
How do we reduce the division that has permeated American culture, especially?
So that is a good question. And that's something that I actually have given a lot of thought to because, it's so poisonous today, the way people view each other and it's you versus me, if, saying, okay, well, and this is probably not the case, but saying, okay, you are a far right conservative and I am a liberal. It's you versus me instead of the two of us working together for what will be best for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that it's sort of a, primal sort of tribal deal where people view it as they are against us instead of, we should all work together. I think I don't know. It's sort of sort of a thing where I think it just needs to be viewed as what can we do to make the world a better place for us all?
Yeah.
Instead of what can we do to, disparage the other side.
Yeah. You have a good head on your shoulders. I like you a lot.
Thank you.
How do you live with or against the selfishness that pervades American culture?
So the selfishness that permeates American culture, that is another very interesting question. I'm really liking these questions. So that is, I don't know. The selfishness, so we talked about earlier ago, what defines good behavior. So I suppose the selfishness would not be something that is good or bad, but I would view it typically as bad, I don't know. I just try my best to not myself act in a way that is selfish, you know. And I think that the best you can do is to set an example and treat others in a way where they see that and they say, I want to live more in this way, as opposed to beating someone upside the head and saying, you need to donate more money to charity, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Getting real specific. And I know you're 16 and you won't be able to vote in 2020, but who would you want to go up against Trump in 2020?
Okay, I've got very strong opinions about this, and my answer is Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
And so my reasoning for this is I think Pete Buttigieg is the antithesis of what everything Trump stands for. You know, Trump is older, Pete Buttigieg is young. You know, Trump was a draft dodger, Pete Buttigieg is a veteran. Trump has never been in, you know, he's never had any form of leadership other than his company, but he's never had any form of like governmental leadership. Pete Buttigieg is a mayor. You know, I think Donald Trump, you know, all the extramarital stuff that he's had going on, Pete Buttigieg is more of a family man. I just think there's a lot of stuff where I think Pete Buttigieg is sort of the anti-Trump, for lack of a better word. Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely think he would be somebody that would stay level-headed in the debates, not resort to attacks, personal attacks. I think he's someone that would definitely stand a solid chance against Donald Trump. I also do like Andrew Yang, though.
I'm very fond of Andrew Yang, but I won't get into that right now.
Yeah, I'm not. The people I will say I'm not a huge fan of are Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. Reasoning for that is I think Bernie Sanders is kind of a left-wing version of Trump. You know, he's got a lot of this sort of populist ideas and is very like, well, I'm just going to do whatever people want me to do.
Yeah.
Instead of I'm going to try and find for myself what I think is best.
Yeah.
And what will be better for everyone, you know, and not what's better for, you know, whatever group they're trying to appease.
Yeah.
And then Joe Biden, I think, is just, there's a lot of issues, but I will say quickly, you know, out of touch. I think it's going to be a lot of the same sort of deal as what happened with Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Out of touch. It's a bunch of Obama nostalgia that I think Democrats would be very foolish to nominate Joe Biden.
Yeah. I will, while I won't go on an Andrew Yang tirade, I will say that if the DNC picks Joe Biden, Donald Trump will win.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it.
That's just a given.
Yeah.
And more people need to understand that.
and more people need to vote.
Yeah.
Because last election, there was a lot of Bernie supporters that decided, oh, I'm just not going to vote, or I'm going to vote for Trump.
Admittedly, it was a very hard decision for people.
Yeah, and so. I do think also that last election was kind of who's the lesser of two evils. Yeah. And I do think Bernie got robbed in that primary, but you can't change what's already happened.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. What are you optimistic about for our future?
Something I'm optimistic about for our future, and this is something I see, you know, interacting with people my age more, is I feel people are becoming much more understanding of people that are different than them.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot less, you know, and especially in sort of older generations, there's a lot of, or it seems in older generations, more, you know, like xenophobia or racism or homophobia. And I think that's something that, you know, now kids now and people my age, you know, they don't care what the color of your skin is or what your sexual orientation is.
Yeah.
They just see you for who you are as a person. And I think that that's something that is, I'm very optimistic about because I really hope that we get to a world where there is, you know, no racism and there is no people hating other people because they're different than they are.
Yeah. Do you believe humans are evil by nature? Ooh. Or tabula rasa or whatever the other Hobbes? Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I believe humans are inherently evil, but I'm not sure if I believe that humans are inherently good either. I think we've evolved in such a way that our minds are wired to what is best for me. You know, so I think that it's kind of a selfish nature. But I don't think most people are evil.
Yeah.
But I also don't think most people are people that would, you know, want to do what's for the greater good. I think it's kind of a mixed bag. You know, it would be nice if everyone was inherently good and the world was a great place and everyone sang Kumbaya, but excuse me. But that is simply not the case, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's an interesting question.
I've been trying to make it a point to remember to put it on those questions.
Yeah.
What makes you content?
What makes me content is probably just doing stuff and making stuff that makes me, you know, going back to like music. Music is something that brings me a lot of joy. And what makes me content is making music that I feel proud of. You know?
Yeah.
So in my band, if we write a song and I'm like, wow, this is a really cool song, I feel content with that. Or like, you know, this is kind of a cliche answer, spending time with my family is something I really, or like friends, you know, just, and feeling, you know, if I feel, and I try to, you know, do my best to make sure every day, you know, every interaction I have, I got to ask myself, did I make that day's person better by interacting with them?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then I think that interaction was a failure.
Yeah.
You know, I try to make people's, you know, to the best of my ability to make people's days better, you know, because I sort of live with the mindset that, you know, you never know what somebody else has going on. And I would hate to be somebody that, you know, if I was rude to you, even unintentionally, to make your day, you know, you think, oh, well, that jerk, you know.
Yeah.
So
maybe you don't need to see the manager.
Yeah.
A question that I kind of stole. Scott Booker told me this, that Wayne Coyne asks it, but now I'm going to start asking it. When will you be satisfied?
When will I? That is a interesting question. That is loaded.
Take that up with Wayne Coyne.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. When will I be satisfied? I will be satisfied, I think, you know, whenever. So my life goals are kind of just to be able to turn music into a career and make it where I'm able to do music and not have to worry about if I'm able to pay the bills. So I guess I'd be satisfied, you know, when I achieve that. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a heavy question.
It also runs off of the assumption that you're not already satisfied.
That's true. That's definitely true. I mean, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, you know.
Yeah. So. 2 more questions. 1, what advice do you have for people in general?
For people in general, my advice for people in general is to never make assumptions about anybody. You know, never assume. So let's go to a quick stereotype here. You know, if you're going to a restaurant and you've got the may I speak to the manager haircut, you know, and you order something and it's like if they mess it up, just assume, you know, or don't assume they messed this up and like just be like it was an honest mistake. You know, I think stuff like that. You know, don't. Just be nice to people, I guess, would be my advice. Don't be a decent human. Yeah. I mean, I'd say, you know, try maybe ask yourself the question, did I make that person's day better?
Yeah, exactly.
By interacting with them. Yeah. And I think that can lead to more happiness in your life even. Because I think it makes you happy to make people happy. You know?
I like that a lot. And lastly, of course, cake or pie? Cake or pie.
So that is, I mean, so I listened to the Johnny Manchild episode, and I would have to agree that some cakes are pies. You know, like ice cream cake. Ice cream cake is awesome, but that's kind of a pie, isn't it?
Yeah. It has cake in it.
It does. That's true. I do enjoy, I don't know, like cookie cake is pretty bomb.
Yeah. I would say that cookie cake is more cookie than it is cake.
It's definitely more cookie than cake.
But I guess you could at some point argue that cookies are essentially cake as well. I guess.
that'd be a
Yes.
Yeah, the argument could be made,
Right.
but you're too busy asking if it could. You're not asking if it should. Overall, man, I would probably have to go cake. I don't know. That's a tough one. I guess it also
one
depends.
of the hardest questions I asked.
That's like tougher than the human nature, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it depends. Cake to pie too. Like, are we talking like a cherry pie? Are we talking pumpkin pie? Or and then for cake, or like,
how do you feel about pumpkin pie?
my
feel like
feelings
it's
on
divisive.
pumpkin pie? I'm not a huge pumpkin pie guy,
not
and I
either.
like pumpkin flavored stuff.
Yeah.
But like pumpkin pie is just, I don't know, doesn't tickle my fancy.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you like it, more power to you.
Yeah. I don't like it because it's a flavor that you breathe instead
Yeah.
of taste.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like the smell of it though.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Like if you're cooking pumpkin pie, I actually make like pumpkin pie like on Thanksgiving and Christmas for my family, just because I love the way it smells when you bake that. So
It's
yeah,
just-
I'd go cakes though.
Yeah. Cool. Reece, thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This was a blast.
Plug your stuff.
Yeah, so reece.carmen.music on Instagram is my page. I talk about, local music, and occasionally here and there talk about other stuff. Yeah, I also have At the Kelly's Okay. We don't have any shows coming up soon, but follow us. We'll post some stuff. I'm sure we'll have stuff coming up. Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff I've got to plug. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course. So one last time on Santiago Ramones.
Reece Carmen.
You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. You can go to santiagoramones.com/podcast/machinations, and you will find my last biggest thing that I put together, which is Machinations, a anthology series that explores ideas in the future and technology. It is like Black Mirror, but with music. So check that out. I don't have any shows to promote at the moment because all of life is hitting me all at once. So instead, leave comments and reviews. Tell me what you think about guests. Tell me if you disagree with me a lot. I don't care. It's fun to have a conversation, and I like having good conversations. And be nice to my guests, because they're spending their time to do this with me. You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. I always end the podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are: love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.